consecutive.
Pat Brown is an investigative criminal profiler and author of the book The Profiler. Pat, good morning to you.
Good morning, Meredith.
You know, as we just saw in Miguel's report, Gardner seems almost remorseful at points in that interview. He says at one point, everything that I've done is horrible. What am I supposed to say? Did I try to prevent it? Yeah, I did. Do you believe him when he says he understands what he did?
No.
You don't?
Boy. You know, no. It hurts my little heart. No, this is a psychopath who is enjoying the limelight, and he enjoys manipulating those who are listening to him. So he's trying to get the sympathy of the people around him. He's blaming the system for what he did. Everybody has done these terrible things to him. That's what caused him this rage. He's a victim, too, so feel sorry for me. Hey, ladies, when I'm in prison, start writing me those love letters. Start writing me those letters that say, I can find God. Start being my friends.
Well, of course, he doesn't say any of that in that interview, but he does claim.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, but that's what he's. But
that's what he's saying. Pat, he claims that he has mental illness, that he's schizophrenic and he's got ADHD or.
I think he said he was bipolar. That's kind of the new one that a lot of
ADHD.
Psychopaths pull out of their pocket. He said that when he was 5 years old, he was diagnosed as bipolar. And in a sense, I believe that, because psychopathy starts very, very young and often is misdiagnosed as bipolar, which is good for him, because what that means is he can say, lots of people are bipolar, so you can understand where I'm coming from. I have these mood swings, and sometimes I'm Dr. Jekyll, but then my Mr. Hyde comes out, and I can't help myself. Chemical imbalance in the brain, not my fault.
Yeah, but he also says, Pat, certainly not to defend him here, but he also says that he tried to get help repeatedly, mental health, and it failed. Nobody was willing to help him. Do you think if he'd been able to get help, this might have been prevented?
This is a psychopath lying. He doesn't really want the help. He's not going in and really working with a psychiatrist. What he's doing is lying to the psychiatrist. He even says, I wasn't able to be open because basically, if I told them the truth, they'd rat me out to law enforcement, so I couldn't get any help. That is a psychopathic, normal excuse for what they do and why they couldn't get help. It's their fault again, everybody else's fault.
I think one of the more disturbing things about the interview is not what he said, but the tone, the fact that he sort of giggles through it. At one point he says, I'm normally not all chipper sounding, I'm really not happy anymore, I might laugh on occasion, I'm just explaining to you what's going on, I don't think anything is funny, there is not much more I can say.
Yeah, well, he actually is enjoying the limelight. This is what happens with our serial killers who get life sentences. For one thing, he says, he finally confessed. He was willing to confess. He didn't confess. They had his DNA, so of course he's going to then say, well, you've already got me. And secondly, he was plea bargaining for a life sentence instead of the death penalty, so he was clearly getting a deal on that. And now he's moved on to his next game, which is enamor himself with the community, make people like him, and start getting those deals he'll get in prison. Get along with the guards, get women to write him, get a girlfriend or two. That's what these psychopaths do when they get in prison, which is one of the reasons life sentence doesn't do enough harm to them, because they usually get along pretty well.
Yeah, and Pat, very quickly, Chelsea and Amber's parents are going to confront him at this sentencing. You sigh there. Do you think that's not a good thing for them to do? What impact will it have on them?
You know, I think almost every parent feels the need to do that because it's a Pandora's box. He's there. They want to go for it. They think there might be an answer somewhere behind that face of his. But what he's doing is continuing his manipulations. They might even think they get closure temporarily, but later on they'll look back and think, that guy was just enjoying it, and he's still lying to us, and he really doesn't give a darn. They're hoping that somehow they're going to break through to a human being that will truly feel remorse. But they can't get that from a person like this, so it's a very hard thing for families to have to go through. It's very sad.
All right, Pat Brown, thank you so much.
Thanks, Meredith.